Hi, welcome to the Shitty Butler review. Tonight I want to review a part of a device, specifically the 4K Apple TV remote. Now the remotes have come a long way. I think I pretty much had every iteration of the Apple TV when they got reduced to the small footprint, not the big one, the original one, but the small footprint one, and when they were shorter. So I've had at least 4 different versions. I think I've had. Anyways, this is a big improvement. When I saw the new one, the 4K, when I saw this remote, I was like, wow, this is like a remote. It's got mute, it's got volume, like the previous gen. The layout's different. And I've been using it. And there's still some gripes that I'm really not sure why Apple hasn't put these features in to their Apple TV, unless they're just trying to trickle these things out over time, just bilk us for all the money they can. Or it's something they're not intending to do, maybe to keep costs down. I don't know, but it's Apple. Like, these are premium devices, at least they're presented as such and they're priced as such. So as an Apple user, someone who's in the Apple ecosystem, I want to see improvements made to this. And these are just some of the ways that I think, I know it will make the remote more expensive, but better. It'll be more valuable, this. Take, for instance, Simple. I'm pressing the buttons right now. Hear it? Can you see the remote? No, because it's not backlit. My keyboard is backlit. Why isn't this backlit? You know how many times I can't feel. When you're in the dark, it's hard to just go by touch alone, because they're all the same. Except for the volume rocker, the face buttons are all the same size, and it's like I don't have the confidence. I don't feel confident. I have to shine a light onto the remote. Just make it backlit. Make the remote bigger if you have to. Who cares? Make a remote. Make Apple TV remote a remote. We're getting closer, but backlit. Like my fucking remotes from the 90s for TVs from my Samsung, I remember they had backlighting on the remotes. Why doesn't this have backlighting? Okay, that's my first gripe. 2, why is there no battery indicator? And I have the same problem with the battery the batteries on the iPhone. The one that you can MagSafe ones, the MagSafe batteries that you can put on the back of the phone. I have one of those. It's got one LED. There's no state for charging. It's a very weird. It doesn't work. There's not even one here. Why couldn't they just have one like on here? That's probably the microphone, but somewhere on the face of the phone saying like just one indicator, right? Charging, blinking, charged, green, solid. Something along those lines. Have something, because there's no way to know when this fucking thing is charged. Right? And it's through here, like, it's just, I don't understand. Well, why? Just make it more expensive. Make it more expensive. Have a way for us to know when this friggin' thing is charged. The battery life is very good on this. I'll give it that. But it's like, what, half an hour, an hour? I never know. I just leave it in for a few hours, and then when I forget about it, and then, oh yeah, I forgot. It's charged. Just I don't understand. Just have an indicator on here. So that's something else I'd like to see on the next iteration of the Apple TV. Something else. Two more things that would really make this remote just beautiful. Like right hit the money spot. Now, because I have kids in the house, I don't want to leave my Apple TVs where I could just buy stuff on the Apple TV. Because I did do that before when I had my own Apple TV and the kids wouldn't use it. So I could just set it to like just buy it without have to authorize or to scan my Face ID or Touch ID or anything like that. It was great, slick. But with my kids here, I don't want them running up my bill buying stupid content and shit. So I have to do it on my phone. What I would love to do is to turn this into a Touch ID, this home button here, into a Touch ID, just like on my laptop, the MacBook M1 MacBook Air, or I guess they all have them now. So when it asks for it, because right now what it does is when it's not set up, when the Apple TV is not set up for just buy it with the click of the remote, it sends it to your iPhone. And there's a prompt saying, okay, so you click the notification on your phone, you get the little slide up, and then you're supposed to double click as it's scanning your face. It doesn't work for me. For whatever reason, it just doesn't work. I would like to just not have the phone in the equation. Put a Touch ID here so I can lock out the remote for my kids so they can't buy anything. Okay? Forget the phone. It doesn't work. It's never worked for me. It has never worked for me. I don't know why. One more thing. What happens to remotes? They get lost, right? Where the fuck's the remote? Why isn't there a tracker on here, like the AirTag? Why isn't there a built-in AirTag into the remote? So then I can use my phone to ping it. And then it can chime. Where is it? Oh, here it is. These are the things that are missing from this phone, from this remote, that would really make it it would make these things fly off the shelf. Okay, so just to reiterate, backlit, battery indicator, Touch ID, and AirTag functionality. That's what this remote is missing. I mean, it works. It's the best one they've offered yet, but that's still not ideal. It's not ideal. So I wouldn't not recommend an Apple TV if you wanted as like an entry into the Apple ecosystem. I mean, it's not too expensive. You don't need to get if you're not downloading apps or games or shit like that, you just get the cheaper one. You don't need all the space. I don't go anywhere near the data or the storage. I don't use that shit. So yeah, the remote has a long way to go still. And they probably could have done this stuff from the beginning, but then you got to trickle that out every year, so they get every model to give a person a reason to upgrade. If you just made the perfect remote, then you just stick with it and you won't buy a new one. That's obviously the best guess I could come up with, but really, this needs to evolve. So this is a review of the 4K Apple TV remote. This is the first remote where it's like, okay, this is a remote. All the ones before that have been not good for different reasons. And that's another video that I don't even want to do. So anyways, that's my review of this remote. And I seem to do so. What's my outro? Fuck off.